Oh, Lisa, it is such a joy to be able to have a little time one-on-one with you.
I'm so happy to be here too.
Yeah, and you are somebody who has gone through my entire Rock Your Biz program
Mhm.
and has landed in the inner circle of licensed coaches. What, like we can't remember, but like 6
6 to
months-ish
8 months
ago?
ago-ish.
Mhm.
Yes, something like that. Mhm.
Yeah, so we're here to enjoy your story today. There are some really unique parts of your journey from where you started, which I'm going to let you introduce in a moment, to where you are now with your business. And I know even that is all in process, right? Because there are even more places that you plan to go. So
Definitely.
I think a lot of people are going to identify with your story, and which is why
Mhm.
I'm so excited you could be here today.
Yay.
So why don't we begin with how did you find me? Do you even remember how you landed in anti-boring world?
I did. I found you through the Bright and Quirky Summit. This was
Oh, I don't think so because I have never been asked to be in the Bright and Quirky Summit.
yes, that's where I found you. You
I
did the
don't
study cycle.
I
It's
think,
2018.
are you sure? I think
Or
it
it
was
could be
through
2017, but I'm positive it was the Bright and Quirky Summit.
I think it was Tifos though. I think it was Seth Roberts
I'm
Tifos.
sorry. Yes, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Yes, Seth. Yes. Oh my goodness. Sorry about
Must
that.
be
You
on the
know
Bright
better
and
than I
Quirky
do.
Summit though.
I know it's a summit. I forgot about TIFOS. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So why was it at the very beginning? Like at the very beginning, you weren't even thinking you wanted to start a coaching business, I don't think. So why was it that the study cycle hit something for you?
Well, when I saw you on the TIFOS summit, I really liked the way you explained things, and the study cycle really kind of simplified how to learn. And that immediately was like, oh my gosh, there's like a structure to know how to learn. And I'm a homeschooling mom and I have two boys and I've been homeschooling for many years. And so I've been really needing some tools actually to teach my kids because I didn't have enough tools and the tools that I had didn't always land with them. And so when you introduced the study cycle, I went on your website and I was like, oh my gosh. And you talked about even more tools. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's more tools. Yay. And as a lifelong learner, that kind of like sparked my interest, sparked my curiosity. So it was just a really succinct way. Study cycle was just a really succinct way of presenting to my kids. Yeah, just kind of like how to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you started with Art of Inspiring Students. I think that's all
Yes.
you did. And I think you were taking it just from a homeschool mom perspective. You really still didn't form this idea of coaching yet in your mind.
Right.
So maybe let's address that first of all, because basically what you ended up doing at first was the Rock Your Coaching Toolkit. And
Yes.
so how did that help you? Not just the study cycle, but all the tools. How did that support your schooling experience with your kiddos?
It didn't I was still digesting. So a lot of it was new information and some of it was like things that I've heard in other ways, but all together was a lot of information. So that first year, I was I wasn't quite teaching my kids yet. I was really taking it on and actually really applying it to myself because, like I said, I'm a lifelong learner and I realized that I needed tools to learn information. So then I can teach my kids and then eventually my students how to learn better. So I was really applying them to myself.
I love that. And really that's what I'm most passionate about in almost everything I talk about tool-wise and probably ad nauseum in the community calls as well. If we're not willing to apply things to ourselves first, then we don't have a fully embodied experience and there'll be a lack of integrity when
Yes,
we do try and teach students.
right, right. Um, and then I actually started just gaining more confidence with my kids and more enthusiasm, and knowing that, okay, I'm actually teaching them something that maybe they wouldn't have learned in school, or maybe if they did, they don't forget. So they've forgotten. So I was just reinforcing, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
reinforcing, reinforcing those skills and teaching them new skills. So
Mhm. And at what point in that process did you think like, oh, wait, I might want to do this for work actually?
I think, let's see, I took that in fall of 2019, I think. No, of 2018.
Hmm.
And then I think I started what was Launch Your Biz, which is now Rock Your Coaching, in
I
2019.
know words have been changing a lot, but no, actually it was
Yeah.
now Rock Your Biz.
Yes.
Because then you
That would
landed
have-
in the full, after doing the course, the tools, you landed in the full Rock Your Biz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm, at the time, but previously I had this little book business, children's book business on the side. So I was in the mindset, or like kind of looking subconsciously, I think, for something outside of homeschooling my children. They were getting a little older and I was starting to have a little bit more time. And so when I landed in, having this toolkit, I thought, oh my gosh, I could teach more kids. I could teach other kids other than my own kids, because how great would this be if I had this when I was younger? And so it really got my wheels thinking, like, this is something that I could do, and I can grow my business as my kid, like step by step, as my kids get more independent.
Mhm.
And I can reinforce what I've learned, and with my students, and then also help my kids. So, it just really sat really well with me. So I would say, like the end to the middle ish, I
Mhm.
started thinking about becoming a coach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Interesting. All right. So maybe it's so funny with the pandemic in the meantime, it's like hard to unpack what was what. But yeah, maybe you really did do more Rock Your Coaching, you're right, before you slid it. That's it. You were right the first time and then I corrected you. You did Rock Your Coaching for quite a while. And then you took a deep breath and you said, Gretchen, I think I'm ready to
Yes.
rock your biz. That's right. Because you've been with me for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
I've said this to you before, but I want to say it on recording. I so appreciate the full bodied way that you listen and participate in
Mm,
the community calls.
mm.
Um, I often you're one, like if I don't have it in gallery view, you're one that's in the first 5 up there. And you always are like miming something that's being said. And I feel so uh received. Sometimes it can be
Mhm.
lonely leading a call like that. And I feel really
Yeah.
received by the way you show up.
Oh, great. I'm glad. I think it's because I empathize when I see my kids, and, especially during the pandemic, when they're online classes with like black screens, or kids are just like, and the teacher's trying to be all, engaging, and the kids are just sitting there like this. Like, I can't imagine how hard that was for teachers and kids. I mean, and for everyone. So, and I feel like it's like I would do these kinds of things in person, because community really has, and connecting with people
Oh,
is really a huge value of mine. So,
yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel very connected
oh,
too.
good.
So what has it been like once you landed in the building the business concept? What was that like? What did you imagine when you first decided you wanted to transition into Rock Your Biz? And what's the reality now that you've been doing that for more than a year and a half now?
So I actually didn't imagine how many students, like the specific details of what coaching, like being like an entrepreneur, like having my own business, what that really meant, even though I had this business, and I always said, oh, it was a side business, this book thing. And so I didn't really have an idea of what it could be. I just knew that it would be something that I could work into my current schedule. Um, and so I've been really just trying to figure out what schedule works for me, how many students, how much am I willing to put into my business, being okay that I don't put in, a full-time amount of work in directly into my business, and really allowing it to really, be okay with the way it's unfolding for me. It's really easy for my comparison queen to come out and think, oh, that person's doing this and I should do that. And I haven't done this part and I haven't done that. And then it just kind of, starts getting up into my head, and I just really need to kind of slow it down, take some breaths, and be okay with what I'm at, and trust that whatever is unfolding at the time and how it's unfolding is what I can handle at the moment, and that's good enough. So it's a constant self-talk loop in my head.
Such wisdom there, such body wisdom is what I would call it. And it can be really hard. Like, the upside of our community calls is we really are a community. We really love each other. We're connected to each other. We support each other. But the downside is that if we're not vigilant about that little loop inside our head, we really can compare ourselves to other people's, either their actual successes or the effort that we perceive they're putting in based on what they're saying in the calls, right?
Exactly. And when I'm so caught up in my own stuff, I can't be present for myself. And just like you said, I can't really be present for anyone else. And yeah, celebrate other people. And I know how good it feels when people celebrate me, and I want to reciprocate that. So it's part of me taking care of myself as, part of a bigger picture. Because comparison is a thief of joy.
Oh my God. Isn't it though? Comparison is a thief of joy. I wish I could timestamp that and come back to it.
Oh, where's the clock?
There's a TikTok moment right there. Well, and when I asked you an email prior to this conversation about, is there anything that you want to make sure you talk about? And I love that you said that actually the self-care gear from my get in gear model for anti-procrastination is something that you really feel is important and a specialty of yours. And I think part of your story as a mom turned coach is that you've given yourself so much time to let it unfold what your special sauce is. Because some people coming into the program already know that their specialty is whatever, but your specialty is that you're a lifelong learner. Yes. And then unpacking what is important to you in coaching. So why don't you talk a little bit about both about self-care, but anything else you're discovering is part of what makes your coaching unique and special?
I think it's definitely been a process, because I'm a homeschooling mom. I was not a teacher. I did teach business English in Slovakia for a year and had to recreate things. So when I think about when I was homeschooling, I'm like, yes, I had to recreate things for my kids like I did when I was living in Slovakia. So I didn't come from an educational background. And I've really had to do a lot of, again, self-care work and really facing imposter syndrome, because I didn't think what I had was special, or I just thought everybody knew the things. But really, honestly, I couldn't. I listened to podcasts about executive functioning and like lots of. I'm always reading something, so it's really been quite a journey. And in that process of becoming a coach and developing my business and putting myself out there, I realized that my self-talk has really held me back at times. And I don't want it to hold me back anymore. Yeah. Let's take a breath.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that, I remember you stating that, I don't even know how many months ago, but in a community call, you just getting so clear, wow, this self-talk thing needs to be my focus.
Yes.
Before I can even move forward with my business. And
Yeah.
so it's really incredible, Lisa, the growth that you have been holding yourself accountable for in such a tender but rigorous way. I would say I've witnessed that. And so I know you don't have as many clients as maybe other people do. And that's where some of the compare and despair comes in. And you've just decided this is my path, and my path is a slower path. And my path, this is actually a deeply spiritual path,
Very,
right?
yes. Oh, yes, definitely. Yes. And knowing, I think, when our society, we have so many opportunities to compare ourselves and to compete against each other. And it's this, and in some ways we derive our self-esteem from it. But when it's not there, or, it's a hustle, it's a big hustle. And, oh, I can't remember where I'm going with that, but it's, I've been really grateful for the community. And Gretchen, you are the best, you are a wonderful support and model for us as coaches to take imperfect action, to be messy, to try things out. One of the biggest words that you've taught me that is incrementality. I love that word. It's a cool word, right? And it's so clear what that is. It's small increments, and it's okay. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to do small steps, and even sometimes you just need that small step sometimes. And that's really, I love that word, that what you've taught me. So business building has been, yes, a very spiritual journey, personal journey for me.
And I see everybody doing this, but you specifically, it feels like, because we've now spent so many years alongside each other, I've seen you hit an edge, and then you voice something about that edge. And then I think my little coach's whatever spidey senses go, ooh, there's an edge. And then
Yes.
I feel like, you can tell me if this is right or not, but I feel like I've been to push against it just a little bit, and to nudge you through, but also let you be in full agency to decide if you're gonna fully step across that edge or not. And I feel like that's happened 2 or 3 times in the years together.
Yes, for sure. You're kind of, to me, for me, that little, like, come on, you want it. I'm right on the other side here. Got a brownie for you.
I love it. I'm holding out my hand. I'll hold
Exactly.
your hand real tight if you can reach out. Like, I got you.
Definitely. And I trust you. I think that's a big thing, like trust, and trust in yourself is, and having the trust of others and the support of others is what you really helped create. And with all of our coaches and stuff, has been really a huge gift to me as personally. So
What are a couple self-care tips that you would give other people coming into either Rock Your Coaching or Rock Your Biz?
mm. I think for me, as a recovering perfectionist, I think, and wanting to like remember everything and be perfect at it and be able just to get up and running really fast. So being impatient, is that really just allow just this information to wash over. It's just the first, right? It's just part of the first, it's just your first trip in the study cycle. It's encoding for the first time, and some things will stay and some things won't. And that's totally okay. So really just trust that when you need to remember something, you'll remember it. And that's what I keep having to remind myself. And just allow yourself time. And you don't have to get it all right and all of it all in one big chunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that as I do these interviews, this piece of advice that you just gave is what everybody else is giving.
Yeah. It's so important.
Like, you need all of it.
Yes.
Yeah, or at least not right away.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that would probably be the biggest. And don't should all over yourself. Shoulding is messy, right? I should do this. I should do that. I should really make it. And sometimes we listen to those shoulds because maybe that is like a little a little Gretchen nudge, coming to you, or your inner coach, your inner wisdom, pushing you past a little bit, getting over that bump. So just kind of don't put so much stock in all the shoulds, but maybe examine them a little bit. So
I love that wisdom. I really do. Now I want to have an editor to come through. If anybody watching this, if you know somebody who's a good video editor, email me at gretchen@gretchenwegner.com. I could use some help around this. So Lisa, when people move from Rock Your Biz into the circle of licensed coaches, sometimes they stop coming to the community calls. And sometimes that's simply because the community, they have so many clients, they just can't come to the community calls. And sometimes it's because life takes over or whatever. But you are somebody who moved into the circle, and I still see you very regularly at the Rock Your Biz and Rock Your Coaching monthly calls. And I would love to hear a little bit about why and what value there is to you to make time for when we come together.
The inner circle calls are really wonderful because it's not recorded. I get a little camera shy, and I'm owning that now. And it's really kind of free flowing and smaller. And for me as an introvert, I kind of like the smaller things, the smaller conversations. For the Rock Your Biz and Rock Your Coaching calls, those are for me reminders of the tools that I have, or tools that I could share, or tools that other people have. And it's just another form of encoding. And realizing, just kind of reinforcing. And that's why I come. And I like seeing the same faces. It could be really lonely being a coach, building an online business, and hopefully it eventually in person for me, but and being able to talk shop with other coaches is really, really valuable, especially academic life coaches, because life coaching and tutors don't really quite fit. They don't, so it's a really tight fit for other academic life coaches.
And especially because of your interest in self-care and self-talk and mindset, and you gathering more mindset tools even outside of our program. That's not exactly my specialty, though I have a few in the anti-boring approach. But I really hear that this idea of academic life coach is very important to you, and to be able to support the academics because that's needed, but maybe you could fill in the blank. But what is this other piece that is so valuable to you?
I think I see it as like foundations. If your health and your mind, your body, and your brain are your foundation, and you can have the tools and the people and that, but if you don't believe things yourself, or if you're not taking care of yourself and getting enough sleep and getting quality sleep, or looking at your phone and your computer and going crazy until right before bedtime, then you're not gonna, you won't be able to handle, right? And then don't beat yourself up that you didn't, but you're and so for me, mindset, like self-talk, uncovering your limiting beliefs, just basic sleep habits, especially around technology, eating well, having protein in the morning, and, good fats, and, and drinking enough water. Those are really basic needs. As humans, we have a lot of other needs, but those are really basic, like physical body needs that we need. And I think once we can do that, once we take care of our body, and then we can then access our mind a little bit more and be open to learning and open to, challenges in our life. So, yeah.
And you get to support students with all of that, as well as all the academic tools.
Yes. I talk to my kids. I'm like, what if I wish my parents taught me all these things about, good habits and sleep and learning how to learn and mindset and all that, because I mean, in a way, I'm very grateful for where, all of my, my life experiences have gotten to me where I am. And I also wonder, like, if I didn't have to wrestle so much, what possibilities could have been there, and how much more impact I could make at an earlier age. It's not necessarily a regret, but yeah.
Yeah, but a thing to notice and to gift forward to your students and to your clients as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that I didn't ask you that you would like to share about your vision, your business, our program, anything? It's fine if the answer is no, but I just want to give you some space. I know you took notes. So
I did. I just really, if you're watching this and you are curious, then I would follow that curiosity and trust yourself. I think academic life coaching and Gretchen's program has been a huge gift to me, like I said, personally, and it has allowed me to I guess, have more contribution, have more impact in the world, because she has such a playful, like I said, allowing personality, and the way she approaches and creative, that it's fun, and it just, like, it inspires me. And know that wherever you are in life, like, you can be an academic life coach, because there's another thing, Gretchen, I think that your program really taught me the enrollment process. Actually, that's one thing I wanted to say, because as a coach, or as like somebody who provides a service, I thought I just had to work with whomever wanted to work with me. I didn't really think that I had a choice. And I really love that you teach us that we do have a choice, and it actually serves us and the student and the parents better when we can be more discerning, and know that, and find out if a student's really ready for coaching, because that's actually the value of a coach rather than a student or a tutor, that we can choose the students, and it could just be a more enjoyable experience for both of us.
well, and you just had the situation where a parent reached out by email, referred from my site,
Mhm.
and there was just something that didn't, your spidey senses went off, right? There
Yeah.
was something that didn't go well. And what's interesting is somebody else in the inner circle, I think, is working with that person, it turns out.
Mhm.
And actually not inner circle, Rock Your Biz, but it's working well for them. But you could just trust, like,
Right.
something doesn't feel aligned in this process. And
Mhm.
in the beginning, when coaches come in, there's a scarcity, isn't there? There's, oh, I gotta say yes to everybody because who else is gonna pay me?
Right.
But you've learned, I know it's not easy, but I know it wasn't the easiest as we talked about it by email, but nonetheless, you
Yeah.
got to practice that it's okay to let that go somewhere
Yes.
else.
And I think you've taught me throughout the process too, or I've learned, or, in a way, like, that it's a, approach that, not every person that contacts me, that we're a good match for whatever reason. But I also see it as, like, it's an opportunity for me to talk to another parent, to maybe eventually talk to a kid. And it's just, been really, yeah, I instead of thinking, oh, it's a lost client, they don't like me.
Right.
And I think in the beginning, that's kind of potentially, I was like, oh my gosh, rejection. Eesh. But you're spinning things, and helping us see kind of the positive things has, again, helped my life and helped my business.
Well, and I'm guessing that oh, woe is me, they don't like me. I'm guessing that voice is still there, right? At least for me, it doesn't go away. So
Mhm.
I'm guessing it may still be there for you. But yes, having the other voice of opportunity and abundance and understanding that that's just our ego or our trauma or our whatever talking. And
Exactly.
there's another one that we can build the muscles up to at least be as strong, and
Mhm.
then maybe be stronger.
Yes.
That's part of the work we do in Rock Your Biz together.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And, I see coaching as like we're planting seeds for the future. It's another thing, off topic thing, but like we're always planting seeds. So I just say that it might not come to fruition right now, but we're just planting seed. We're little farmers.
Yeah, we're little farmers. Come join
Little
the
farmers.
farmer community. Okay, I have 2 more quick questions. One, I'm dying to know, because obviously I see the study cycle behind you, but I'm dying to know what that purple or blue star thing is.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. That is called an empathy map.
Ooh, see, this is a tool you got from elsewhere.
Yes.
I love it.
So it's 4 characters or history or literature, and you put the person in the middle, and then you kind of build out like the who, what did they say, what did they hear, what are their experiences, and it's just a deeper dive into a character.
See, one of the joys of my work is that I get to learn so much new stuff from the brilliant people who come to my program, who learn my toolkit, and then who add to the toolkit, but stay in the community and bring all their tools to the community. I love it.
Yes.
Oh boy, we're still recording, and I have to get up for a second to let UPS in. This is real life happening right as we're talking. But I was about to just say how much you said that I inspire you and how much you inspire me because of what you learn and what you bring back and share, and how you hone it. You are a brilliant honer, I believe, of information, which is probably why you're attracted to my work.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Okay.
And, I wanted to speak about that. I learned that from, I'm really been diving deep into note taking as a tool for learning and processing and laying things out. That's why I took notes beforehand, to kind of clarify my thoughts that were kind of like abstract, to like make them concrete. And I've been kind of dabbling in sketchnoting, and I think seeing your program, Gretchen, and like how simple it is or straightforward it is, and how well laid out it is, kind of gave me, not kind of, but gave me the confidence and a little bit of a map of, or at least a model of creating like my own course, and something that I never thought I would do. So that's been a really big gift too. So.
And that's another example of something you've wanted anyway. But when I heard it, I started
exactly. Well, you could do this. You could throw it out here. You could, maybe create this. I'm like, yeah. Okay, yes, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
So excited that you're doing it, and I can't wait to see what you create.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last quick question is, I know I'm kind of a quirky and weird person, and I think quirky and weird people are attracted to me, so which must mean that you have your own quirky weirdnesses. And I wonder if you agree with that, and if you'd name a few things that aren't necessarily professional. I didn't warn you I was going to say ask you this, so you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but just some of your cool interests outside of coaching.
My cool interests are dancing, although I don't dance as much as I want, but I really like kind of to dance. We just bought these poi spinning balls. They're like balls at the end of a string, and you kind of go like this and they spin around, and that's been really
bring
fun.
them to Rock Your Coaching call next week if you come and do a little demo for us. Oh my God.
Yes. I'll be like whacking myself on the legs. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. I love doing yoga, qigong. I don't know if I'm quirky. I just really like different. Yeah, I guess I just like to learn different things.
Yeah. I would say you're game. Lisa is game.
Game.
So feel her fear that she's game to try the next thing. That's what I would say.
Definitely. Yes.
Well, you're in the right place. I'm so glad that you've opted to stay on with us and continue sharing your gifts in the circle of licensed coaches. And if people want more information about you, they can come to my webpage, gretchenwegner.com/trained-coaches. I think that's the link. But do you have a direct website yet for yourself, or are you still working on that?
Yes, it's www.innercompass-coaching.com.
Innercompass-coaching.com. I know, I read a little dance.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I encourage people to check Lisa out, to follow her, to watch for her note-taking course whenever it appears. And I will see you, because I see you all the time, in the next way to see you. Take care, Lisa, and take care, everybody watching the video.
Bye-bye.